Is abortion unethical? One of the cornerstones of American political debate. This seems to be a topic that many people just cannot find even a reasonable middle ground on, but I think I personally found the most logical answer. Now, the reason why this debate always ends up in a disagreement and never a middle ground is because of a concept I call arguing in the weeds. What I mean by this is, with abortion, eventually the debate evolves into one fundamental issue, and that fundamental issue is when life begins, whether that's at conception or at birth. Both sides claim they have a definite scientific reasoning behind when it starts, but in reality they can never agree on when it actually happens, and that's what I call arguing in the weeds, because pretty much you have reached a point in the debate where you disagree on such a fundamental idea that there's no point debating further if that's the issue you're going to continue debating. So what I like to do when a debate reaches this point is to accept one of the premises and move forward going off that basis. For abortion, let's take the premise that abortion is not murder because life begins at birth. If we take that premise, automatically the argument's over. There's nothing else to debate, because the whole other side's argument is based on whether or not abortion is murder. So if it is not considered murder, then there's no point debating anymore. So let's take the more interesting route, and let's analyze under the premise that abortion is murder because life begins at conception. Now, if we accept this premise, there's a new issue we need to tackle. Why is murder wrong? A lot of people argue that murder is wrong for three main reasons. One, murder is wrong because God told them not to. This premise falls apart if you're not religious, so it can't be used as logic for a society with freedom of religion. Two, murder is wrong because everyone has a right to life. This falls apart when you consider that most fundamental rights, like freedom of speech, aren't absolute, like with defamation, so the right to life, in similar logic, isn't absolute. Three, murder is wrong because it causes immense harm. You are causing not only physical pain to the person, but emotional pain to their loved ones. But then this falls apart if you were put in a scenario where killing one person could save 5 lives. Doing pure net harm math can be used to justify some murders. That said, I want to propose a more radical idea. There is nothing inherently wrong with murder. We as biological creatures are subject to the same Darwinian survival of the fittest laws as any other species, where murder and competition is just part of daily life. The only reason we don't do that is because collectively, as human consciousness, we have agreed to sign a social contract to not murder each other. Because when you murder someone, there is the chance you will murder someone else, and that fear causes us to punish the murderer. So the key takeaway with this premise is that the only reason we punish a murderer is because they have a chance to harm others. With abortion, you're talking about one of the most personal processes imaginable. It's as exclusive between a woman and her doctor as one's faith is between them and God. Imagine someone else told you how you should practice your faith. You would probably tell them to kindly fuck off, no? Additionally, no one looks at a woman who gets an abortion and thinks, yikes, I need to get away from this woman. She's going to kill me next. Instead, you usually send your condolences, because the woman more than likely is facing post-abortion depression. So based on the premise of murder only being socially punished because it has the ability to affect other people, you will realize that making abortion illegal is quite illogical. Anyways, that's just my thoughts. Let me know how you feel. GU out.